YouTube, I'm back again today for another game review. Today I'm very excited to check out My Little Scythe from Stonemaier Games. This is for 1 to 6 players, age is 8+. It'll take you about 45 minutes to play, and in My Little Scythe, they tried to take Scythe and make it into a family game, which is an incredibly daunting thing, because Scythe is generally a 90 to 2 hour game. It's a very meaty game with alternate win conditions and all sorts of different special abilities that you can have, and different resources and combat, and all sorts of crazy stuff. And they tried to compress it into a family game. Did it succeed? Stonemaier Games has an absolutely impeccable track record with me, so I'm immensely excited for this game. But did it work? Also, fair warning, the middle part is about 12 minutes, but it is very thorough. It covers all the different rules in the game. But let's open it up, and I'll tell you what I think. Alrighty then, we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of My Little Scythe. So first and foremost, we're going to handy dandy rule booklets. 8 pages, double-sided, full color, full of pictures, illustrations, and tons of examples. And overall, it is incredibly well done. There's one hole that I would like to poke in it, and that's that I wish there was an FAQ on specifically how some of the movement cards work, because we did have questions arise with some of the movement cards that you can upgrade to, where we weren't sure if you could pick up resources as you're moving and continue to keep collecting those resources. But other than that, outstanding rule booklet. Also, I want to mention that there's rules for a solo version of the game, and not just a solo version of the game, but also a way you can add robots, and I'll talk more about that in the pros and cons. But in My Little Scythe, what you're going to be trying to do is you're going to try to be the first person to put 4 of your trophies up there in the top right-hand corner. If you do that, you will trigger the end of the game and have a very good chance of winning. You're going to do that by accomplishing a variety of different tasks. So as I said, you have to get 4 trophies up here, but as you'll notice, there's actually 8 trophy slots. So there's a bunch of different alternate paths to victory you can take to winning this game. So I'm not going to go over all the components. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the 6 main actions you can take, and you're only going to take 1 action on your turn, and the 8 ways you can collect trophies, and everything else is just going to kind of come together if I do that. So first and foremost, you are going to select your tribe, and yeah, let's get it out of the way. They come with absolutely gorgeous looking miniatures that your kids are just going to want to play with all the time. These things are really stinking cool. We said that, yeah, components are great. Let's keep moving on. Next, you're going to get your little player board right here. Everybody's is going to be the same. You're going to put your 4 trophies on the top in the 4 trophy spots, and you're going to take your little pawn. And on your turn, you're going to take 1 action. So let's just start off by going over the 6 different actions in the game, and then I will talk about the ways that these actions are going to get you trophies. So first, we have the movement action. If you want to move, it's quite simple. You put your pawn on the little movement circle. You then have the opportunity to move both of your characters, and they move by themselves. It's not like you have 3 movement to share between the 2 or 2 movement to share between the 2. So what you can do is you can move your guy 2 spaces if he's not carrying anything, and you can move him 1 space if he is carrying something. So let's go to this example right here. So in this example, this person is currently carrying a gem, so they can only move 1 space unless, of course, they choose to drop the gem, whereas this person can go bloop, bloop, 2 spaces. So movement is very straightforward, very simple. I also want to mention that there are portals around the board. These portals will teleport you from one portal to another for the cost of 1 movement. There also is a portal in the main castle in the middle. The main castle in the middle is a special spot. You cannot go there unless you have business there, and I'll explain that a little bit later when I talk about how you can gain trophies. So that's movement. Movement's very cut and dry, very simple. Next, we have seek, which is also very simple. So if you go to seek, you're going to go to one of the 2 seek spots. This spot's going to give you 2 apples, 1 gem, and 1 quest, because those are the resources in the game, the apples and the gems. Down here on the bottom, you're going to get 2 gems, 1 apple, and 1 quest. So let's just go ahead and do the 2 apple one, and it's really quite simple. Once again, you are going to take the 4 colored dice that you have chosen to roll, which are right here. I could not find them for a second. And you're going to roll them. So let's take a look at these dice. The blue one are the gem dice. And as you can see, there's different colored gems on there. And I'll explain that in a second. Red ones are apples, and the yellow one is quest. So you're going to roll them up, and then we're going to see what happens. So let's start with the apples. I have a gray apple and a red apple. What does that mean? That means I'm going to put 1 apple on a gray space over here. I'm going to put 1 apple on a red space over here. And you might not have noticed, but they are actually divided up into different territories. You got the ice, you got the water, you got the desert, you got the other desert, you got the forest, you got the mountains. So you are going to put that. So I might put 1 right here. And then for this example, I might put 1 right here. Now, somebody's on there, and you'd say, why would you possibly want to give someone a free resource when you could put it somewhere else around them? Well, the reason why you do that is that when you do give someone a resource, you go up on this track right here. This is called the friendship track on the left-hand side. So right now, blue, well, I'm actually green, but we'll pretend I'm blue, would go up 1 on the track, and that's going to be one of the ways you can earn a trophy. So I just wanted to mention that. That's a very good way to gain hearts, is by giving people resources when you seek. So next we'd have a gem, so the gem would be on gray, so we'll do that. And then we have a quest, and the quest would go to white. And to answer your question, if you do have that question, yes, you can put resources on yourself. It's a fantastic idea. You cannot put quests on people, though. You can only put quests on spots where people are not. So those are the 2 seek actions. Once again, movement, simple. Seeking, simple. Make, last but not least, you have 3 different spots where you can make, and it is really simple. First one, you can take 2 of the apples that you have on your character, and you can get 2 higher on the pie track. The pie track is over here, and you're going to use the pie track in combat, which I'll explain a little bit later. Next, you take 2 gems, you get what's called a magic card, which we haven't even talked about yet because we didn't really need to. Magic cards are going to have pies on them, just like the pies over here on the track, and these are what you are going to use in combat because you will be getting into pie fights, potentially. Last but not least, and my favorite spot, is the upgrade spot. You're going to make an upgrade to put on your board. Now, you may notice that around the outside of the make and the move spots, there's like these little dotted lines because you can upgrade those. So if you spend a gem and a apple, you can draw the top 3 of either one of these upgrade spots. So the blue upgrade will let you upgrade your make stuff. So for instance, let's take a look at this one. 1 apple will give you 2 pies instead of 2 apples. This one will make it any 2, so this will give you a little bit more flexibility on spending your money. This one, the friendly baker, 2 apples is going to give you 2 pies and a heart. So that's good as well because, well, I don't want to get that far ahead. When you fight, you do lose a friendship because you're a jerk and you're attacking people. So those are the 6 actions you're going to take in the game. Those are it. That's all you're going to be doing in this game. On your turn, you're going to do one of these 6 actions. The only rule with that is you have to go from a different action to a different action. You could go move, seek, move, seek, move, seek, move, seek all day, but you can't go seek, seek unless you go red, seek, blue, seek, red, seek, blue, seek. So you do have to move it from space to space. Now let's talk about the 8 different ways you're going to be able to get trophies, which are up here. So the first one, which I alluded to, was if you get up to 8 on the heart track over here. So as you can see, once you get to 8, there is a trophy. Now you might also notice on the bottom down here on the 2 and the 1, which you can't really see, there is a trophy with an X through it. That's because if you are underneath 3 friendship, if you have 2, 1, or 0 friendship, that's super bad because you cannot gain a trophy at the end of your turn, even if you've earned that trophy. Because how this works is you can only gain 1 trophy per turn. Now, continuing onward to the next one, we have the lightning bolt, which is really simple. Have you upgraded your green? Have you upgraded your blue? If you upgraded both of them, guess what? You earned a trophy on the lightning bolt symbol. Next, we have the magic cards. And you are going to start the game with one of these magic cards. But if you have made 2 of them or went on quests and they gave you some, and you have a grand total of 3 of these magic cards, you get to put a trophy there. We'll skip the quest and we'll go to the quest last because that's the only thing I haven't really covered at all. So next, let's talk about these 2 right here. So deliver 4 apples to the kingdom and deliver 4 gems to the kingdom. Pretty straightforward. If you have 4 apples or 4 gems, you can now enter the kingdom because they want you there because you're going to sell stuff. You give them the gems, you go back to your respawn, the gems go away, and you get yourself a trophy. Now, one thing I do want to mention is you have to have the gems on delivery. So let's just say that you show up with 3 gems, and you're like, hey, I got 3 gems, but my buddy over there has got 1 gem. They say, no, he's got to be here too. But you could do this, which is perfectly legal, and turn them in. So same thing, 4 apples, 4 gems. And another mechanic that I do want to mention is that when you go back to your respawn, you get either 2 pies, 1 magic card, or you get to, and you get to take your meeple off of the board. This is the only time in the game, your action meeple, I should say. This is the only time in the game where you can do the same move twice in a row. You can move. So, continuing onward, we have pies and pie fight. So pies are very simple. If you can get up to 8 on the pie track, then good for you. You have gained that. Now the pie fight happens when you enter a space with anyone else, or when anyone enters a space with you. You cannot get out of a pie fight. So if you get into a pie fight, let's pretend that yellow, boom, boom, goes over here and starts messing with us. They're going to do a pie fight. So the first thing that happens is yellow goes down one on the friendship track because you're attacking me. I'm trying to go about my merry way delivering these gems, and you're just over here throwing pies at me like a stupid jerk. Yeah, what's up? Yeah, you're a jerk. Even though he does look cool. Look at that. God, so cool. So stinking cool. Anywho, you get into what's called a pie fight. So how does a pie fight work? So you're going to get one of these little spinners. Now, if you're familiar with Scythe, you're like, hey, that's like the Scythe spinner, but it's got a pie on it. I say, yeah, it is. It's really kind of nifty. I had that same reaction. And then you are going to look over at how many pies you have, and you're going to decide how many pies you are willing to put into this fight, knowing that when you spend these pies on this tracker, they are gone. So you and your opponent are both going to do that. You also have the option to put one card on the spinner per person you have in the fight, which at most would be 2. So in this particular instance, the yellow guy was not very smart because he attacked me when I have 2 green guys here. And in this example, let's just say I have 2 yellow cards, or 2 magic cards. So I might put those right here. I might put this right there. And we'll just say that this is what's going to happen. So we both reveal at the same time, and yellow has come out swinging. He's got 3 pies, so he'd go down 3 on the pie track, and a 2, so he would have a 5. I, on the other hand, I only went with 1 on the pie track, but I knew I had 5 in my hand, and I played both of them, so I would have 6, which means I would win. Yellow would go back to where they started, which I'm not seeing right now. But they would go back to their respawn, gain more pies, but more importantly, I would stay here, and I would keep whatever resources are on there. If yellow had 1, then those resources would now be yellow's, and they'd be one step closer to doing whatever they wanted to do with those resources. Pie fighting is also the only way that you can earn a trophy when it's not your turn, which is kind of cool as well, because if you win it on defense, that can be a pretty big swing for you. So, the last way you can earn a trophy, we talked about everything. Gaining hearts, gaining pies, upgrading, getting magic cards, delivering stuff, getting into pie fight is going on quests. And there will be quests scattered around the board when you first begin the game. And if you remember correctly, there are also quests when you seek, because you're going to put one quest out no matter what. And if you end your turn on a quest spot, so let's just say yellow goes here, you are going to take the quest token, throw it over to the side, and then you're going to get one of these handy-dandy little quest cards. If you're familiar with Scythe, it's somewhat similar. So, friends are in peril. You have 3 choices in the matter. First one, send aid. Place 2 gems on a space occupied by another player, gain 2 friendship, and 1 pie. So you're buying this, you say, hey, bad guys, here's $2, get the heck out of here. But at the cost, you have to get rid of 2 gems. You actually have to give them to somebody else. But you gain 2 friendship and 1 pie, which is great. You also can do the red option, which red normally is bad. It is in this one. You gain 2 gems, you have better things to do, and you lose 1 friendship, womp womp, because you didn't help your friends. You also can just be like, Switzerland, and say, no thanks, and you gain 1 gem for visiting. And whenever you pick no thanks, you also will gain something. You just won't gain as much as you'd gain in the other 2 options. Now, you'll notice, if you look really closely, the blue and the red have the little compass symbol on them, because in order to complete this quest up here, you have to complete 2 quests. And just saying no thanks is not completing a quest. You either have to do one of these 2 things, be it bad, be it good. Once you've completed 2 quests, then you can gain that trophy. So, pretty straightforward. That's what you're going to be doing. The only thing that I have not mentioned that I can think of are these cards right here. And these cards, each player is going to get one of these cards at the beginning of the game, and they're very simple. They are going to make 1 trophy easier for you to attain. So for this one, you only have to have 1 power-up instead of 2. This one, pies. Instead of having 8 pies, you have to have 7 pies. Healthy, instead of having 4 apples, you only have to have 3 apples, and you get the gist on how these work. Anywho, you're going to continue to go until somebody's put 4 trophies on the track. Everyone else will get 1 more turn, and whoever's the most trophies and also wins the tiebreaker will be the winner of My Little Scythe. And that, in a nutshell, is how the game is played. Alright then, My Little Scythe from Stonemaier Games. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. First, on the con side, game's not going to be for everybody for a variety of different reasons. This is a family game, and I'm going to tell you this is an absolutely fantastic, outstanding, amazing family game that I recommend to pretty much anybody with a family with kids age 6 to 15 years old, in that range. But as an adult game, it is definitely on the lighter side. And when you're playing it with only adults, and I did try it one time with just adults, and everybody thought it was cute, everybody thought it was okay to good. I just don't think it's a great adult game. So yeah, there you go. I would consider this purely in the family weight category for my personal opinion, or the lighter gateway game category. Another con that I have with this game is that the movement rules, that is the only black eye I have with the rule booklet. It is a fantastic, outstanding rule booklet, but we did have definite questions, movement questions when it came to, oh, I upgraded this card and now I can move 2 spaces when I have resources. Does that mean I can pick up spaces as I go along? I didn't feel like it was clearly explained in the rule booklets. I think you can, based on what the computer can do, because you can have a little robot computer that you can play against and they can pick up stuff as they move along, but not quite sure. I wish it was more clarified in the rule book. Also, this is a really odd con, but my kids got super excited in my classroom when I said you could play this as a team game, and I was like, yeah, you can play this as a team game! It was because I was reading about the robots you can play against. But the team game is actually you against robots, which was not nearly as exciting as, we had first thought. We thought it was going to be like 2-on-2 or something like that. But continuing on with the cons, if you really want the box insert to work the best, you do need to make sure the box is flat. If you turn it to the side, then stuff's going to go all over the place. Not in a terrible way. I mean, it's just a slight nuisance, and quite honestly, the box insert is absolutely outstanding, so that's more of a nitpick than anything. Biggest con that I have with the game is that it's just a tad bit too short. I just want it to be a little bit longer, and because of that, it can be very unforgiving. If you get to the point in the mid to late game where you are under 3 on the friendship track, you are probably not going to win. I tried 2 of the 5 times I played this to try starting out the game not being nice. And it didn't work, because it got to the point where it was like, oh, I could earn a trophy this round, or I could attack somebody this round, and I would totally win. I would totally crush them in this pie fight. And I was like, oh, but I'm at 2 on the friendship track. And then I would have 3 at the friendship track, and then I'd be 2 because I attacked somebody. And I understand why they compacted the game and why they compressed the game, because they wanted it to be a family weight game, but at the same time, I think that is a slight hindrance to the game as a whole. Any other cons? No, I just can't wait for expansions. I want more, I want more, I want more upgrades, I want more this, I want more that, I want more everything. Because moving on to the pros, I can't really think of too many other cons. Slap Up Hour is best seal on it. My Little Scythe is absolutely fantastic. It is my family game of the year. It's probably my favorite family game to come out in the last few years. It's going immediately into my collection, and where do I even begin? So first, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Yes, the components are absolutely outstanding, incredible, fantastic, but you kind of expect that from Stonemaier games. The box insert has a spot for everything. The miniatures look absolutely gorgeous. Everything fits into the box nice and compact. You're not going to have any of that wigglage on the side, which I really do love. The rule booklet is also very, very well done, aside from that one issue. Playing against robots. A lot of people just kind of poo-poo at that. And I'm not normally one who likes to play against robots when I'm playing with people. But the AI in this game is actually incredibly simple to use. Like, normally, whenever I have to figure out how to play an autonoma, as they like to call them in this, or a solo, when you're playing solo and you play against a robot, it's always a really difficult process to try and figure out exactly how the rules work. Not with this one. It's like 2 pages. It is really short and simple. It's just, hey, flip a card. Do what it says. Where is it? Yeah, this. See this? This is it. This is it. You want to play against a robot? You're playing a 2-player game. You want to add a 3rd player, which is a robot? There you go. Read this. It takes like 4 minutes. Really, really excited. Really well done, especially aimed towards a family crowd. I think that was an absolutely fantastic idea. Artwork-wise, that's a very subjective thing, but the artwork is outstanding. But let's talk about the gameplay here. If you watch my channel, you know I am a connoisseur. Oh, I love that word. Connoisseur. It sounds so fancy. A connoisseur of children's game. I play tons and tons of children's game. I work with kids all the time, and I play games with kids pretty much all day, especially in the summer. And so we play old stuff, we play new stuff, and I am always on the lookout for these absolutely fantastic gems of family games, and this is one of them. It does everything I want a family game to do. There are alternate paths to victory, and they are viable. If you want to go around, you want to attack people when they have a whole boatload of stuff there, and then, you get your pies. You may be losing friendship because you're hurting people, but you're getting resources. So what does it matter? Because you can immediately take those resources and turn them around. If you want to be combat friendly in this game, you can do that. If you just want to hoard your resources, go on a bunch of quests, get that out of the way early, you can do that. If you want to stack yourself up super high on the pie and friendship chart by giving everybody resources right from the get-go by seeking, you can do that, and then you can turn around and be as big a jerk you want because you're already super high on the friendship track, and you can get in combat because you're already super high on the pie track. And those, while they sound like things that should be in a game, are not things that are typically in family games. And so when they are in there, I take pause and I say, wow, that's fantastic. Alternate paths to victory. Love it. Asymmetrical abilities. Now this one, you don't start off with asymmetrical abilities, but just the fact that you can upgrade your character to make it a different character from someone else, be it in a minor way by the upgrades, is still really stinking awesome, and something a lot of family games don't even touch because it just adds more rules to the game. It just adds more fidgetiness to the game, that now you have this special ability. And while I wish they would have went a little bit more whole hog with the special abilities, the fact that they didn't, I completely understand why. Also, explaining the game is not terribly difficult. As you saw in the middle part, it's about 12 minutes if you watched it. And I feel like if you were here at the table with me, you would be completely ready to play the game. You would know exactly what you're doing after about a 12-minute explanation. And honestly, I could have condensed that to 5 to 10 minutes if I really did try. So it's not a terribly difficult game to wrap your brain around. There's only 6 actions you can take. And while there is 8 different things you can try to strive towards, a lot of them work hand in hand, which makes it even easier to understand. Overall, My Little Scythe is outstanding. Just it's this simple. Do you have kids age 5 to, I'd say, 12 years old? If you do, My Little Scythe should be one on your radar. And in my opinion, an immediate buy. I played this with my 5.5-year-old. He understood it, and he actually won the game. And not because we were taking it easy on him, because there is a good deal of luck with the dice rolling and with the quests, and if you have the right resources at the right time. But still, My Little Scythe, just instantly into my collection. It's going to be in my classroom for as long as I have a classroom. It's going to be at my house for as long as I have a house. You know, hopefully I don't get homeless or something like that. But in the end, definitely one you're going to want to check out. That is My Little Scythe from Stonemaier Games, Bauer's Best Seal. Probably going to be my family game of the year. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below and in the comments below. Let me know, what is the last game that you added to your collection? Obviously, aside from My Little Scythe, looking over here, the last game that I added to my collection would be the Dresden Files cooperative card game. I actually shot a review of it a long, long time ago, but then they wanted me to review expansions, so they sent me a free copy so I could review the expansions with it as well. So that was pretty awesome of them. But let me know in the comments below, what is the last game you added to your collection? And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.